What is up, ladies and gents? You know what time of day it is. It's Zebec time, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about Zebec. We're going to be discussing this new all-time high here on Zebec, and I'll be giving you guys my price prediction for Zebec over the coming days and weeks, as well as my targets for 2025. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you are new here, then welcome to this channel. If you do like this sort of content, hit the like button and subscribe for more. If you are a returning viewer, as always, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you all here. So of course, just diving straight into this video, the first thing that I want to say is, of course, I've been away for a little while, and sorry if the sound quality is a little bit bad. I am not at home at the moment. I am abroad, and I'm just here in a hotel at the moment. So this is going to be a quick Sunday update here on Zebec. First and foremost, congratulations to all the holders out there. What a phenomenal run that we've seen here on Zebec. Over the past week, we are basically up 3x. So of course, give yourself a tap on the back, because it hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows. It's been a massive roller coaster ride, particularly if you've been here over the past few months, as you can see here from the price. Of course, let me know down in the comments as well if you are holding Zebec. If you are holding Zebec, let me know how long you've been holding for and how much you are up by. Of course, again, congratulations to you lot. If you are not yet in Zebec, do not worry, because I personally think the price is going to be going much higher, and in this video I will be discussing why. So of course, if you've been following this channel, we've been talking about Zebec quite a lot, and there's quite a few technical patterns that we have been watching here on Zebec. Now, the first things that you'll notice from this price action is that for the past 9 months here on Zebec, in fact nearly a year, the price has kind of been in this range here between roughly 0.06 cents and up to 0.2 cents. So this has been the range for the past year that we have. So we can kind of represent the range with two horizontal lines. The upper horizontal line that I'm going to make solid, let's just change that. We've got this upper horizontal line and we've got this lower one down here. And essentially for the past year, Zebec has been trading in this range. And this is what we call an accumulation range. This is something that we had been monitoring here on Zebec, because I said in my previous videos that if we broke past this upper 0.21 cents level, we could see a massive rally. Now, of course, we've also got this bottom down here, which is at roughly 0.07 cents. And as you can see, the prices have come down to this level on two separate occasions. So we can consider this support here as a sort of double bottom pattern as well. And of course, if we look at the upper line here, we've also got this resistance, which has been tested on multiple times. We can see that the price has come up to this level on several different occasions to test it as a resistance. So throughout the past year, the prices have been bouncing and bouncing around this region. Now, of course, on the 21st of May, we saw that breakout. Unfortunately, I was traveling around at the time. I didn't have internet, so I couldn't update you guys on that. But hopefully you caught that move from watching my previous videos. Of course, after we saw that breakout, the prices did not stop, and we headed up to a high there of nearly 0.5 cents. But if we have a look at the price target of what we should see from a breakout to the upside, we get the distance between the bottom down here of the double bottom pattern to where this resistance is, and we drag that distance to where we saw that breakout exactly, we can see that we've got quite a bit higher to go. And of course, this is just the first short-term price target that I have in mind. Of course, that price target there sits 0.66 cents. And so if we have a look at where the prices currently are at the moment, we, in my opinion, still have a 70% upside in the next few days here on Zebec. Of course, at the moment, if we have a look at the price on the shorter time frames as well, we can see that the prices are still trending upwards. They're getting even more parabolic. And at the moment, nothing to me suggests that we could see a reversal in the shorter term. We might see a little bit of a consolidation. That is completely normal in something that looks a bit like this. Maybe we see the prices range here for the next few hours. Again, guys, that's completely normal. And if we see a breakout to the upside, that would also give us some sort of tradable pattern. But in my opinion, on the very short term, things are looking great. And again, if we zoom out to the longer term as well, we should see that 70% happen within the next few days. Of course, if you are looking for a great place to buy or trade any Zebec, then look no further than the MEXC exchange. This is the exchange that I use for all my trading, because they have some of the lowest trading fees. They don't require KYC, and for a limited time only, if you sign up using the link in the description down below, they'll give you $20 just for joining. So if you want to make use of that offer, sign up in the link in the description down below. It takes less than a minute to do so. Don't forget to deposit some fiat currency or crypto into your account, and then they'll give you $20 straight away. So you can, for example, just buy some Zebec with that or trade any such breakout. So of course, guys, as always, thank you support. Of course, guys, thank you for your support on this video. Of course, guys, thank you so much for all of your support. Let's get back into this video. So like I say, shorter term target there at 0.66 cents, but that is just the first step. The other things that I've been using to predict the price here on Zebec, which has been fairly accurate up until this point, is these Fibonacci levels. And of course, these Fib levels have been places of support and resistance for the Zebec price throughout its history. As you can see, for example, these gray lines provide areas of resistance when the prices have pumped in the past. And so we can use them to predict where Zebec might get up to. And so of course, as you can see, the first thing that I want to point out is that this price target stemming from this double bottom pattern that we are seeing also goes straight to this 1.414 Fib, this gray line here, which gives me extra conviction that Zebec should get up to this level if it's going to continue pumping. Of course, if we're able to get past that level, the next realistic resistance that we have here on Zebec, the next price target that we could be seeing is 0.9 cents. That's the 1.618. That's a very important Fib level, and that could be matched in the shorter term if this uptrend continues. Now, of course, for this uptrend to continue as well, what we want to see is this MACD still clearly in the green. These two lines clearly heading upwards. If we get a crossover like this would mean that the uptrend is ended. So this is kind of my signal as to whether Zebec is still in an uptrend or not. At the moment, you can see the bars are clearly showing green momentum there. If we start to get a crossover like what we saw back in February here, then that means that the bullish momentum has ended, and then this uptrend is finished. But as you can see now, we are doing extremely well in that department. Of course, in the longer term, so my 2025 targets here for Zebec still remain along these Fib levels. But the higher ones here, as you can see, are this 2 Fib here that we have and this 2.618 Fib. And this forms the boundaries for my 2025 targets. So my min boundary there, my minimum boundary is 1.7 cents. And that is the 2 Fib there. And my upper boundary, my optimistic target for Zebec there is 4.5 cents. So, of course, that is my 2025 target. I think that's going to take a little bit longer. I'm talking at least the next few weeks to months. Of course, a few things that we want to see for that to happen are these two here, on coin market cap, the fiat and greed index, and the altcoin season, giving us favorable numbers. The fiat and greed index is at 67, which is greed, which is good. But for the best chance for Zebec to get to those higher price targets, we want to see this value here at above 80, which would mean there's extreme greed in the markets, and that typically correlates to market tops here. And of course, the other one, which I personally think is more important, is the altcoin season. Now, the altcoin season index shows us whether Bitcoin is outperforming altcoins or altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. And at the moment, we can see the value of 24 out of 100 means that Bitcoin is still clearly outperforming altcoins, which means, for example, when Bitcoin drops 1%, we see altcoins on average drop more than 1%. But when we see an altcoin season, we start to see altcoins really, really outperform Bitcoin. And that is when we're going to see coins like Zebec absolutely flourish. And so what we need to see on this is a value of at least 75, which will mean we're in an altcoin season. And that would give the best possible chance for Zebec to reach these upper targets here of towards 5 cents there. So of course, at this very current point in time, my optimistic target is still roughly 1,050% from where the price currently is. So I think the reward for getting into Zebec right now is still there. That's a clean 11x if we hit that optimistic target. Of course, if we still get to that 2 Fib, which is my minimum target for Zebec, that's still a 332% upside here, in my opinion, that Zebec has. Of course, it's not just the chart showing us that as well. Of course, I do think Zebec is a phenomenal project. There's plenty of information online. If you want to go check out the website, I will link it in the description down below as well, so you can see all the partnerships they have formed, all the things they are working on. And trust me, if you see that, I think you will get very, very bullish as well. So there's plenty of reasons to really like Zebec here, at my opinion. There's plenty of reasons to believe we are going much higher. Of course, if you haven't seen Bitcoin has also made a brand new all-time high, which is typical for a bull market, of course. Of course, that draws a lot of attention to crypto every time we see a new all-time high in Bitcoin. And at some point, we are going to see that altcoin season. At the moment, we know that Bitcoin is kind of taking the limelight at the moment. Altcoins are still not performing as well as they should be, considering that Bitcoin is at its all-time high. But at some point in the future, I do expect this chart to kind of reverse. This altcoin season chart, we are going to start to see this figure go up. And when we get towards 75 plus here, it's going to be absolutely mental for altcoins such as Zebec. And so given that information, I'm extremely excited to see where Zebec gets to in 2025. I'm very optimistic about its future in the longer term as well as the shorter term. Of course, as a summary, in the shorter term, like I say, we could be hitting that price target from this double bottom pattern, which gives us that price target there of 0.66 cents. We could push towards that 1 cent region if we see brand new all-time highs here on Bitcoin. If we start marching to about 130, 140K with the altcoin season index increasing. Of course, in the longer term, so later in 2025, my guess would be Q3 or Q4, probably Q4 to be honest. My two targets here for Zebec is this 1.7 cents as the minimum target and this 4. So of course, guys, that was it for this video. Of course, there has been no videos over the past few days because once again, I have been traveling and I have not had any internet. But from here on out, I will make these videos more regularly. When I am back at home, I do make these videos daily. Not just on Zebec, but also content on XCN and other cryptos. So if you are not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications along if you want to follow along on this journey. Of course, if you are already on this journey with me on Zebec, on XCN, etc., congratulations once again, particularly if you are a holder here. Make sure you celebrate those wins. Cheers to many more wins here on Zebec. Of course, enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you guys in the next video.